It really begins with my husband, Bronson Ingram, who was a very competitive person. He was a competitive businessman. And so when he became chairman of Vanderbilt, it was quite normal for him to take this credo of his and decide that Vanderbilt, as good as it is, can be better.
Bronson was very active in community service and various organizations here, but the Vanderbilt students, many of whom, in fact in those days, most of whom came from very affluent backgrounds, were more like his children. And he agreed that they should have some exposure to the part of the world that's not as fortunate.
Our father would explain that what he was excited about was getting some natural leaders, some really bright young people who he thought looked like they would be successful, but also had a propensity to give back.
I would say they were looking for youngsters that had done previous things in their community that indicated that they were interested in their fellow man. So from the very beginning, that was part of the deal. First of all, Joe Wyatt and Bronson Ingram liked each other very much, and they played off each other quite well. They could understand each other's worlds, and I think that they did work very, very closely together to get this program started.
Bronson and I, looking back on it, hit it off very early on because I don't know why. I guess we just thought alike in terms of decision making and that sort of thing. And we spent a lot of time together traveling, and we talked about the issue of social service and having students experience that here. It was very clear that he came from both his head and his heart on this.
He had one caveat, and that was that they need to be the kind of people who, once they were finished with Vanderbilt, would not just go and hide in a corner somewhere. They would not just go and experiment with whatever it is they were interested in, but rather that they would become leaders in communities.
We got to the point where I thought it would be helpful to have an institutionalized program based on service that would in fact recruit young people to Vanderbilt who had an interest in service. But the thing that Bronson brought to this to me that was so key was to have students who come here pursuing a professional career, doctors, lawyers, business people, would in fact be the people who would, as they lived out their professional lives, make it a point to systematically give back to part of society that needed help. And I wrote that up in a form of a proposal.
It was during the prior capital campaign that our father was chairman of, and he and Joe Wyatt dreamed up this idea, as I have been told, as an idea to take to another potential donor.
Joe Wyatt and Bronson Ingram proposed it to another potential donor, and he had other ideas of things that he wanted to do, so he turned it down. On the flight coming back, Bronson Ingram turned to Joe Wyatt and said, "I'll do this, I want to do this."
I think as they were explaining it to this donor, my dad got excited enough, he finally said, "You know what, Joe, I'll do it."
Bronson said, "I'll do it." So we were off and running.
To get the program going, we really went for the strongest candidates, the most passionate about their service, and the most engaging in those interviews.
The Ingram program was coming together my freshman year, and they were basically doing a call on campus for folks that wanted to apply who were already here. I remember back thinking, do I really qualify for this type of program? It was spoken about, and it was going to become something that for leaders in community service and public service. And so, you start to question yourself, have the things that I've been involved with, do they really qualify?
I just remember that they were very bright, very alert, very interested in their surroundings and the people around them. But I do think that they were energized and, with all the fervor of youth, they were ready to go change the world.
The more amazing thing was how much these youngsters had already done. We said, we're going to have a discipline about this. And, we'd already figured after a year or two, we fall in love with every one of them that come in with a proposal. So finally we got to a point where we had 6 that were just amazing. And Lyndon's 5. So I said, I tell you what, Bronson, Faye and I will do the next one. We'll do this one to make it 6.
Bronson Ingram, when he interacted with the Ingram Scholars, let me just tell you, he was putty in their hands. It was hilarious because he was so proud of them, the first 6, and he was just thought it was a great thing. Totally different from the tough businessman I had seen in every other aspect.
I would say that Bronson treated them as if he were their father, his own children. I mean, he had an open door policy about if these youngsters really wanted to see him, they could do so.
He was very involved, and he was quite pleased with the interactions with these first students. So much so that when the cancer presented itself, as we say, he said, as his treatments began, he said, look, if I don't make it through this, the one thing that I think I may have done in my life that's really worthwhile, other than my family, is to get this program started. And, don't worry about the business remembering who I am. But he said, if I'm remembered for anything, I hope it'll be for this Ingram Scholars program.
Bronson Ingram died about a year later from that first selection.
Of course, it was such a great loss for, as I said, Bronson's heart and mind was in this thing. And for anyone to succeed, a person who's that much of an influence and that powerful in ideas and makeup. But I would say it didn't miss a beat. I mean, everybody said, look, we all miss Bronson, but the last thing Bronson would want is to have his not being here negatively affect the program. So we have to carry on, full speed ahead.
I think that after Mr. Ingram died, there was never a worry that the program would continue. Now, never in our wildest dreams did we have the notion that it would grow to be what it is today, but we certainly knew that it would continue to exist.
He died in 1995, and as part of his will, part of his wishes, he didn't want the kids to wind up with too much money and turn out to be bums, so he took a large amount of his net worth and put it in a foundation where the money had to be given away, and 40% of that amount of money had to go to Vanderbilt. And that's when we decided to endow the program and grow it to the size that it is today. It was to honor his wishes after his death.
And then between about 2000 and 2005, the Ingram family were even more generous and endowed the program fully. And the program expanded from about 25 scholars at one time to about 50. It doubled in size in a period of 4 or 5 years.
We started out with 6, then went to 11, then I think it was 18. But we had growth without it being totally planned. And so we would always say we were going to select 2 incoming freshmen and 2 current students, and never would we do that. So that's when it started to blossom.
This is center. Is that the second row that has a lot of room on it? Y'all are gonna angle this way? You guys look crowded. We really need that middle fill.
This will work. We will get this to work.
I think it became its own part of the infrastructure at Vanderbilt. And so not only the numbers game was the issue, but also the quality of the experience and the quality of the outcomes.
The center is filling up, so I want to see your whole face.
There are going to be 150 people in this photograph, current students and alums.
Yeah, no, stall some more.
Oh, stall some more. I've got a stretch. Carlos, look up. We're going to lose you back there.
Very nice. We got some nice smiles.
And I think the Ingram Scholars program really started to mark Vanderbilt as smart kids give back. And not just giving back in school, but just giving back for life. Because that's really what Bronson was about. Bronson was saying, lead a life of service.
One of the most important things we do in this program is the selection of new scholars, both high school seniors and students who are currently on campus at Vanderbilt. This process begins with an application from high school seniors in early December. And through the month of December, we read these files intensively, several times each, over 800 files in the last few years, each year.
Last year, we had about 940-ish applications. That was a huge jump from previous years where we had about 500 to 700. This year, we're about 870, but it all starts here. We organize them, we have students come in and read and help us. All the applications get 2 reads, and then Marshall, our faculty director, will read all of them.
We think about who's gonna move me? Like, who's gonna take Ingram program to the next level? Because I think you
How does he take the program to the next level?
I mean, I think he just brings something different. Like the way he thinks, clearly this guy is brilliant, you know? Like,
He is really smart, yeah.
I think he would add something really interesting to the conversation, like all scholars.
All we see from these applicants is their answers to 3 questions. We ask these students about their leadership and their role in their community organizations, about why they serve, and about what they think their experience will be like, what they will gain from coming to Vanderbilt and spending 4 years as an Ingram Scholar.
I want to read this so much.
Yeah, my first thought when I was reading it was I want to sit down and talk to this guy. Yeah.
In effect, what we're really looking for here is not something glamorous and glitzy that you've traveled all over the globe or created your own nonprofit. We're really looking at the core of their personality and their beliefs. To what extent are they really committed to community service? Why are they committed to that kind of service? How does this fit into their lives now, and how they think this is going to fit into their lives once they come to Vanderbilt?
One of the things about Ingram that sort of can set it apart from other scholarships is that it's more so an opportunity than a reward. And so because of that, we look for people who are going to come into it with the mindset of that I'm going to use this opportunity to grow, to learn, to improve myself, and to therefore make a greater impact on society.
It's the hard reading between the lines.
It's what the why is so important.
Why?
The motivation is really key, and particularly in how you express it.
I mean, I have a lot of compassion for these students that are writing these because I want them to succeed. I mean, I want to put great students in the classes below me in this program because I respect it so much. So I really want these people to succeed, and I really get excited when I can put a yes on an application.
Yeah, where did you guys go?
We went to the rec center.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They went to the rec center.
After we complete this reading and review process, around February 1st, then it's time for the selections. We bring these finalists on campus in mid-February for about 2.5 days.
Okay, so what compelled you to take on this project?
So I wanted to go back home, reach out to my community with what I had learned from being an Ingram Scholar and being a Vanderbilt.
They stay on campus in the dorms with current Ingram Scholars. They have all sorts of activities to meet the current Ingram Scholars, to meet administrators and faculty on campus.
So one thing I tried to do was imagine that I had different disabilities as I would use public transportation.
See a little bit of Vanderbilt, a little bit of Nashville, but in particular to get to know our program.
One of the current scholars were talking about how autonomous they are, and I think that's just really eye-opening for me because everything they do is deliberate. They go to these places, they plan out exactly what they're doing, how they're helping. It's all on you, and so you have to be really self-driven, and I think that's really inspiring to me.
Have you worked together
It's seriously probably the friendliest group of strangers I've ever met. It really is. They're great.
Hi everyone, I'm Abby Morgan and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi guys, I'm Macy Early and I'm from Lexington, Kentucky.
And then they're interviewed in group interviews in a very brief but intense experience, normally of about 20 minutes, a panel of about 7 or 8 reviewers with 3 or 4 finalists at the same time. So that process from Sunday in the middle of the day with their arrival until Wednesday, the announcement of the results, is a very quick, very intense process. And this is in some ways the most important thing we do, because this is selecting those students who will be with us in the future.
If they put 3 of us in a room, they're going to ask us questions. So what, are you kidding me? That's going to be nuts. But I don't know. I feel confident. I like the 2 girls that I'm going to be with. I like a lot, actually. And so I think being able to get to know them the past 2 days is going to make it more comfortable for me to be there and to be a part of it. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but the nerves aren't going to go away, All
right, so here's big picture. So the Ingram Scholarship Program was created in 1994. Joe B. Wyatt was the Chancellor of Vanderbilt University, and he worked very closely with Bronson Ingram, who was the original donor for the program. And the Ingram family has generously endowed this program in the 20 years since then. As you'll see in your interview tomorrow, the Ingram family's been involved with this project since its very beginning. Last year we received about 950 applicants. This year we received about 875. There are 13 of you. Right? So that means 1% of the applicants get accepted. This is an incredibly selective process.
Faye will eat it. Don't spend it all. You did. If any of you would like anything, we have like literally everything. So
Nervous. Right here, The young people who get into Vanderbilt today, it's really hard to get into Vanderbilt. And then the ones that just rise to nomination for Ingram Scholars are a whole nother elite level. And the ones that survive the initial round of the selection process are even higher.
One of you will get the first question, and then it goes down the line, then we'll shift to the next person and start the next question. And I'll be done in 20 minutes.
And the ones that show for the interview are just, they're incredibly gifted, talented young people.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Katie. I'm Dr. Cyrus.
There are so many intangibles in that selection.
My pleasure. And Scott?
You look at the things they've done, the applicant has done, to see if it projects to leadership.
Step outside of my comfort zone, but be consistent in that.
I tend to gravitate to people for whom I feel that they have passion and they have energy and, a real sense of commitment.
I think through my service, I've learned about different communities, but ultimately how to connect and how to connect with different people.
You look for people that are self-confident or you think will gain self-confidence with the program. You look for people that have the natural tendency. You look for the people that have done something unique in their life on their service work and not someone that's checked the box, because so many high schools are encouraging service work now.
But a lot of the time I think that there's a lot going on in life.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, there's always things that I wish I would have said or thought about right afterwards that I wish I could have gotten in there, but overall I felt pretty good about it. All the Ingram Scholars right now, it's just such an amazing family and community that I would love to be a part of.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. It would mean an opportunity to consistently pursue service throughout my college career and to also combine that with a professional experience and to integrate the two, hopefully with my major and things that I'm passionate about.
You're from tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I think I'll have the resources and ample opportunities to do that.
The group that show up for interviews at the end is incredibly elite, and oftentimes, the question is, oh my God, I wish we could take all of them. And that's usually the case.
Thanks. Bye. The selection is so high. The ones that make it just rise a little bit further.
Emily, you there?
Hello.
Hi. How you doing? Trip back okay?
Well, yes, it was good. It was a good trip back home.
All right, well, I'm just calling to congratulate you. We're going to offer you an Ingram Scholarship.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Good.
I'll send you a letter in the next few days.
They pretty much select themselves. You know, at the end when we're trying to figure out the ones that we're going to offer the scholarship to, even though it's a very, very difficult choice, the committee tends to center on the people that we ought to do. And as difficult as it is, they win.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Is that your mom there behind you?
Yes, it was.
Congratulations, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi. Well,
nice to meet you. This is my mom, Karen.
Ingram Scholars are incredibly busy. I think we're some of the most involved people on this campus, not just in our service, but in our leadership and our other activities. I think a year of Ingram Scholars is really about diving into a community and truly trying to make the most impact in what could be a small amount of time.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Orientation is a time for all of the returning scholars to come back and to gear up for the school year, to introduce all of the new scholars that have just come into the Ingram program, and to be able to connect with them and bond as a family. And that's really what makes Ingram so great, is the family that we are. And it's hard to be away from your family for several months, but to come back together and to welcome the new members to the family is just absolutely wonderful. It's one of the most look forward to events of the entire year.
Orientation became that time period before school started when you could dedicate your whole thinking, your whole being with why we're here to get off on the right foot.
So basically what we're trying to do is help maximize your opportunities to move forward in whatever career you choose and in how service is going to fit within that. So that's the first objective. And in particular, what I'm interested in is focusing on the connection between your service and the learning part. So this is the reflection part in particular.
Are we saying our community, when we do community service, it also involves like the relationships we have around us, or are we saying going to other communities?
It depends on what you define as your community. I have another word. Sustainability.
Oh, that's good.
That is what differentiates community service from social justice work or public policy work.
This program is about community service, leadership, and career, combining those. And so what we're trying to do here is say, okay, what is it that you think community service consists of, and what kind of leader are you? So that the students can, for each of themselves, work out their own definitions and ways of looking at this.
Empowerment for impact.
Part of this is some of them know each other already, some of them brand new, and so this is also a way for them to mix together and exchange ideas and also disagree. Because what they see when they get in these small groups is that they don't have a single consensus on what community service is or what leadership is.
A leader is somebody who takes initiative and then either does it or sees that it is done.
Because you have to be able to see where you're leading people and see it from their eyes.
Some people think like as a leader that you have all the power, but I think in reality, good leaders give their power away to trust the team.
What is the essence for you guys of leadership? What is it? You can see around the room here. There's no way we're all going to come up with the same set of intentions, motivations, process, and end results, the single definition. But you should be able to figure out what yours is. Unlike many scholarship programs, the Ingram program really is a program. It is a community of young people, students. So they meet in orientation each fall before classes begin.
Hey, we have a special guest.
And then they meet on a weekly basis every Wednesday afternoon. This has been true of the program since its very beginning in the mid-1990s.
For some reason, I was very committed to the idea that we would meet once a week as a group. I don't know that any other program did that, but I think now, looking back, that was the smartest decision because that is what caused the students to network, to care for each other, to become Ingrams, as they say.
So, without further ado, Mr. Ingram.
The students meet, first of all, as all scholars. the entire group of 40 to 50 scholars.
And how much nicer than when you normally see me is in that final interview piece, so, where you're kind of going, what have I got to do here?
These programs really are seminars, lectures, interactive case studies. This is a chance for all of the scholars to confront some sort of issues and do this collectively, interactively.
As a family member of the Ingram family, how did you deal with some of the pressure of high expectations?
One of the things, high expectations are okay as long as you can kind of marry them up with your passions.
The Wednesday meetings also grew out of knowing that they needed to see each other on a regular basis, to share knowledge, to build networks, to share advice, to support each other.
At least for me, a lot of times I don't take chances because I see it as a risk rather than an opportunity.
It was also to have intellectual discussions and reflection upon what you were doing with your service. And I think that was vital and continues to be.
So if it's not something you love, I don't think you should stick through it until you're finally content with what you're doing.
It's always easier to play it safe, do the same type of service you were doing in high school, or take the same, or stay, because you're good at it, as opposed to trying something completely different.
It was cool to hear from Mr. Ingram too, how that seems to be his favorite part of his life and his job. Embrace the joy that's found in being able to give back and be a part of it.
It's a really unique time to be around all the scholars at once, and I think we all really appreciate that time together. And whenever I come out of the All Scholars, I do feel like I am more motivated to continue in my service, and I feel a lot closer to all of my scholars through those meetings.
Wait, one like this. Come on. Come on. There we go.
I know that. The fourth week in this cycle, they split up into small groups, normally of about 4 or 5 students, and they meet with a faculty or staff advisor.
How about right? We drop our bags here.
And in this session for the small groups, it really is time for them to bond, to get to know each other.
So I've got old members, new members.
I'm Emma, and I'm from 15 minutes down the road.
To have much more in-depth personal conversations. It's for mentoring. We mix them across classes so that the upper class, especially the seniors, are able to provide guidance with the newer students, especially the first-year students.
We get together in a relaxed atmosphere and students talk about what their interests are, why they're doing service. It's nice, I think, to start the year off by reflecting on what we're doing here and why we're doing it. And it's always good for me because I get to learn new things about the students, and they learn a little bit about me. And I think that sort of starts the semester off with a comfort level that we can then build upon as the year goes on.
Nashville International Center for Empowerment works with refugees.
I think the strength in having a small group provides students with that opportunity to talk about very openly their concerns. And you wouldn't do that in a group of 50. But with 6 Ingram Scholars who had similar experiences, you were willing to share both your ups and your downs.
Do you think that is really connected with why you feel so at peace right now?
I think so. I think because I realized that passion people can really work on and change. And this year I was in Dr. Webby's small group, and it was really fun. It was the first time I'd ever been able to really get close to a professor in that way, and to go off campus with the professor and to see that he cared about more than just my academics or more than just my service. He cared about how I was doing as a person. I felt like the small groups were really a great experience for all of us.
I get very humbled when I find out the fantastic and innovative and creative and intelligent things that these scholars are doing to better the community that I am in love with, Nashville, but also the state, the region, international efforts. And so every year when I think that I can't be surprised at something that somebody's done, someone will come up and say, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think about that? And I have to pause and say, wow, what a great idea. Why didn't somebody else think about this? So it's very inspirational to me. So we're talking about next time.
The cumulative effect of all of this programming is they really have developed a whole culture of questioning, of conversing, of confronting each other in a civil discourse when they have different ideas. So it really is creating the kind of thing that college is really supposed to be about, which is an ongoing conversation about things that matter in life, to constantly reflect on what they're doing, to do this systematically, and do it in a way that's intense and meaningful.
Hi there, how are you? Come right on in.
As far back as I can remember, I have invited the Ingram Scholars to come for dinner here prior to their Christmas break. And it has, it's become a tradition for me as much as I think it has for the youngsters. We serve a very nice dinner, and I think it makes them feel more at home with the Ingrams. And, you know, we are perhaps dispensing scholarship monies, but I think it's nice for them to know that there's some real people behind that and that we really do care about them. The thing that has probably surprised me the most that out of this is that while we have youngsters from all creeds and colors and parts of the world as Ingram Scholars, one of the things they want to do every year is sing Christmas carols. We have youngsters with all sorts of religious backgrounds, all gathered around the piano, and I've got little books, Christmas music books, and it's really rather remarkable. It's a nice moment in time for me. I really feel very glad that they still want to come.
Thank you so much for this. This is always the highlight of my season.
Well, thank you. They want to have their pictures taken, and so all that's really quite nice. I think they're proud of being Ingram Scholars, and I think they seem to be pleased to be here and to know something about the family that is providing the scholarships for them.
Thank you, Mrs.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
I'm glad you're here.
I feel really compelled to say that so much of the man I've become in the last 10 years is thanks to you.
Oh,
I wanted to say that earlier, but this has really been a special night. It brings back a lot of sweet memories and reminds me of where I came from, so thank you.
It's a good site though. We get a lot of people there. Looks like a nice little area to live.
One of the most important pieces of the Ingram Scholarship Program is they all engage in at least 20 hours of community service each month. I always like to say that one of the distinguishing features of this program, especially when it's compared with somewhat similar programs at other universities, is the autonomy we give to the students. Although we help them in every way possible, placement in community agencies, it's up to them to decide where they want to work and what kind of work they want to do.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good, so good to see you.
Good to see you here.
Do you want a basket?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
The Nashville Mobile Market is a mobile grocery store that operates here in Nashville. We have 12 different stops across the city that we've identified as food deserts. Fruits, vegetables, what are you looking for today? And we go each week for 2 hours and offer our services.
Onion.
Good.
Onion.
Here on the mobile market, we work to make sure that each customer feels as if they're having the true grocery store experience. We accept cash, credit, and EBT so as to make our goods as accessible to all of our customers as possible. And we offer the healthiest types of foods that we can at the lowest prices possible.
Sometimes I look for my favorite black-eyed peas.
Having these 20 hours that I have to set aside every month to go into the community and work with organizations like the Mobile Market has brought me so much joy and has really enriched my entire experience at Vanderbilt. I think that service has been an integral part of my life for a long time and is something I would have wanted to do in college. And so it's so amazing that the Ingram program kind of gives us this push to do what we'd want to do anyway. Okay.
That's all you need.
That's all?
That's all you need.
And it's good to go.
Just boil it and it's good to go.
Being an Ingram has truly shaped my perspective on being a leader and what an effective leader looks like. I see now how important it is to be a servant leader and to not just be some sort of distant figurehead, but that it's so important to just be on the ground and engrossed in whatever your mission is. Angel, do you want a peach sample?
No, thank you.
No, are you sure?
Already hot one.
Okay.
Thank you.
And to be an effective leader, I think you have to show everyone that you're working with why the mission is so important.
Thank you so
Adios.
much. Even you get a hug here too on the way out. That's a bonus.
Of course.
Love you people.
Bye. The feeling like you can't really describe when you find something that you're so passionate about. It's amazing.
Fifth is a fifth grade that start. They do have fourth graders there too.
As part of my service with the Ingram Scholarship Program, I'm a Girl Scout leader with the Martha O'Brien Center.
Yes, give me a hug.
And I come out each Friday from 5 to 6 and work with girls in middle school and elementary doing service projects and, different things that Girl Scouts do.
On my honor,
I will try.
For today's meeting, we really wanted to focus on the value of service because that is something that is true to, the overall mission and purpose of Girl Scouts.
and to live by the Girl Scout law.
And to live by the Girl Scout law. So when you think about service, what do you think about first? Like helping people? You think about giving money, or you think about like being out in the community doing things? And so what I hope to teach girls through Girl Scouts is that regardless of where you come from, regardless of what you have, there's an opportunity here. And Girl Scouts has all these great principles and great ideals about creating role models and servant leaders. And I think this is such a great program to have in underserved and underprivileged communities because these are girls who need to develop those skills and to develop that knowledge. And I enjoy having the opportunity to mentor them and work with them to help them get there.
All of those are things y'all can do every day that doesn't take, you going out driving somewhere to do service. So just remember that, okay, ladies?
My service has become more refined, more effective, and more efficient. I feel like initially as a scholar, I wanted to be involved in so many different service activities, but over time I've realized that I have to focus on what I'm really passionate about.
And then on the other side, you write your message that we practice on here, okay?
Again, through the Ingram Scholarship Program, I've been able to become more intentional and more focused on what it is that just drives me every day to get up and serve the community that I love.
I like it. Happy Thanksgiving. I think a lot of times being an African American, I'm always just in awe of the opportunities that I've been able to have that so many people in my community have not been able to have. Can you give someone who didn't get a glittery one, so we're being fair? So I think being an Ingram Scholar and going to Vanderbilt is going to allow me to gain tools and knowledge and information that I can leverage to make a difference in my community. And that hopefully one day another little girl just like me who cares about people and who cares about service and who cares about her community can go and do the same things because I've been in this program. It really is allowing me to pay this opportunity forward to someone else. And I think that's huge. That's made a huge difference in my life.
Hey, I'm waiting for you. How's it going? I'm so happy to see you.
Glad to see you
so
too.
much.
I've missed you. Are we making paper today?
Making paper.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
In the process each year of working with these different community agencies, they forge friendships and relationships with community service agencies, volunteer coordinators, with the people they're working with.
Hey everybody, look! Abby's back!
That summer was looking for something that had to do with women's empowerment, and Thistle Farms seemed to be the perfect place to explore that.
I miss you doing all my work for me.
And so I started coming to volunteer just whenever I could, and the first day was plopped into the paper room, and Jennifer happened to be working here that day, luckily, and formed an immediate connection with her.
But we take the thistles. The thistle is a weed. It's rough, it's prickly, but it grows on the streets of Nashville where the women walk. And it's got a deep taproot that'll bust through concrete to survive. But when it blossoms, it's a soft purple flower. So it's our symbol. So we take the unwanted things, the thistles, the papers, the dried up flowers, and we mix them together so that we can make crafts with it. It's like art therapy. Taking the unwanted things, making something beautiful.
And she is really what made me keep coming back week after week.
I miss her so much.
To be able to draw from her energy and enthusiasm, and also just her strength.
Remember how to do this?
Yes, I'm not very good at it, but I do remember.
Okay. I was just 45 years old, and my life was hell, you know, and I was so broken, and I was suicidal, and I'm still here for a reason, so.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here.
And hearing, Jennifer talk about her places of weakness and how she came to be as strong as she is, I also have learned a lot about just how I can turn my weaknesses into strengths, and I've drawn a lot of strength from her.
And I have shared a lot of things with her, and she doesn't judge me, and that's very humbling.
What I've discovered in my interactions with people who I'm serving is that I gain a lot more from them than they probably do from me, and I'm grateful for that because I needed that insight.
I made you something very special. This is the Star Book.
Kind of came wanting to see, how are these women empowered and how could I maybe in the future empower women, but really it was an empowering experience for me to volunteer here.
I will. So this is not goodbye forever.
No,
this is
not.
It's just
This is the beginning of a friendship.
Yeah.
As we come to the end of the year, we hold a celebration banquet.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
You are the best missile farmer ever.
Where each of these students invites people they have worked with in the community agencies to come to a big dinner where we celebrate our relationship with them and the things these community agencies are doing.
We'd like to honor those who've worked with us over the year. Everything from our Ingram Scholar advisors, faculty, staff people, community organizations. And look around, these are the people who make things happen. These are the people who are helping you.
In many ways, this is our sort of meager way to say thank you to all of these agencies for working with us over now 2 decades.
To all of our special guests, if you haven't figured it out already, the reason you're here in this room is because someone, or all of us, have personally been inspired by your tireless dedication to making this world of ours a better place.
We have had the life-changing opportunity of becoming members of the Ingram Scholarship Program. We have been allowed to critically examine the world in which we live, to study social enterprise and poverty in large lecture halls, and be inspired and transformed. We have been given the privilege of working alongside our community, remembering that we are not special, we are not elite, we are an integral part of our society.
My own life would be such an insignificant shell of what it is now without the experiences I've had and the relationships that I've built through service.
Thank you. We hope that you keep working with us. These are ongoing relationships, and we hope to have you back again next year.
Hey, Eunice. Are you excited for today's lesson? I'm very excited. The Ingram Scholars Summer Project is a really unique opportunity to spend one summer working on a project of your choice that you get to spend the whole year developing and working in a population of your choice on a project that you think is really important. But it follows a process that's similar to grant writing in a way, because we're required to research the issues, make contacts in the community, and then write an actual proposal that's really in depth about what you're going to be doing, why you think it's important, how you're going to be measuring the success of whatever programs you're putting in place.
In public, there are about 100 people at this rally.
It's a difficult process, and it's totally different from an internship or even just like a service trip abroad, because you spend your whole year thinking about it and actively talking to other scholars about your idea and then researching it, and then going through the proposal process was also just really helpful in ensuring that by the time I got here and started my project, I was as prepared as I could be so that I could do the best work that I could possibly do. You guys ready to get started? Yeah? So I'm gonna start with the bell pepper, and then on this side, I will start with carrots. This summer, I'm doing my summer project with the Vanderbilt Kennedy Center, and I am working in their summer camps in teaching nutrition classes, and then also improving their confidence in preparing healthy meals and healthy snacks. Sometimes it'll surprise you, but it can be really good. My goal is to help them become more independent in their meal planning, in their cooking, because a lot of these people are seeking employment and are seeking to live independently, and being able to feed yourself is a pretty large component of being an independent individual.
Chop suey, chop suey.
They're just such a joy to be around. With Williams syndrome, they like to say that they have a cocktail party personality. So you'll see that they come up to everyone and they like to introduce themselves and just get to know you. They're so interested in being your friend. You like it? It's really good. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys the recipe so you can make this at home. And they're really adaptive and they respond to the instruction really well.
In some ways, the most transformational piece of our program are the 8-week summer service projects. Students do everything from staying in Nashville during the summer for 8 weeks working in projects, to going to other places in the United States, to going abroad. We've had Ingram Scholars work virtually everywhere on the planet.
This past summer, I spent 2 months in Uganda conducting ground research on education on behalf of an organization called Teach Twice. And your headmaster? My primary goal when I went to Uganda was just to listen to people that are invested in education and working on the ground with other teachers, nonprofits to improve education opportunities for Ugandan youth. You teach me, okay? And I teach you, okay? All right. Okay. And one of those major leaders in Uganda's Kampala community and also in the village community was Paul Kabanda, and he is the Teach Twice East Africa director.
Is that okay?
It's okay. He has a master's in education and has dedicated his entire life to serving Uganda's orphans and vulnerable children.
Good evening to you all. How are we doing? I'm privileged to be the chairman board of governors.
And so by spending time with him, I was able to learn from a Ugandan's perspective just how deep the needs are and how empowering the youth is really the answer to solving Uganda's problems in education.
When you look into the faces of these primary school kids, you see people who are happy, who have a future, who have a vision. But out of a sudden, their vision falls down, it drops out. They don't see a future, how they pursue it further. Many of our students have dropped out of school. They end up not being successful in one way or the other. So they fail to maneuver through their studies or education.
You like our teacher? Yes! Clap hands for her.
I was given the chance to teach the classes. I taught an English class, I taught a math class, and that was a really interesting and challenging experience because the teaching style is so different from the teaching style in America. It's very authoritative, students don't really engage. It was a chance for me to try and break these barriers that are so deeply rooted in the educational norms of Uganda. So for a verb, who remembers what we did? We stood up, stand up. And I told these kids over and over again, I'm here because I'm getting an education, and you can come to America if you get an education, and you can go anywhere you want. And to be honest, I kind of understand where they're coming from because they live perfectly fine in the village. Their role models are their parents, and their parents are getting by with just a primary level education. So you have to completely change the attitude that education is a must, and it is the answer to getting beyond your circumstances that you may have been born into.
Currently, we have few who can access this education, and the majority are a bit disadvantaged, not able to access this education because it is far. We have seen how far these schools are.
We visited around this village. There's lots of kids. There's not enough secondary schools to meet.
There is no secondary school in this community. We want to have one here. We see them growing and then having responsible citizens who are successful, who have a passion, and who can contribute to the development of the country.
I think it was real refreshing for an American especially to come to this village because they saw the opportunity that it gave me, and before they thought that nobody had cared about Nachikungube, that it was just a little spot in this world that nobody had ever heard of before, and now I care about this community, and I'm back in America talking about this village and raising awareness about the needs in the village community.
Rachel, she has been a gift to Uganda. Joyful, and also I can say bringing a picture of an American perspective to an African perspective. Developing these two together, it is incredible.
This summer, Jordan and I traveled to Kampala, Uganda, to work with an organization called Technology for Tomorrow and research the benefits of their rainwater harvesting systems. So Moses, where are we headed to this afternoon?
Well, this is a school that had a problem of water for a very long time.
So our main contact was Dr. Moses Musazi. He is an electrical engineering professor at Makerere University. Technology for Tomorrow has a mission of using appropriate technology to better the lives of local Ugandans and East Africans.
You're welcome.
Hi. Kevin, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Which is your name?
I'm William.
William.
Yes, please.
Nice to meet you.
A lot of people don't have access to clean, affordable sources of water, and so our idea was to join with someone who's working on rainwater harvesting, which is taking advantage of a large untapped resource to provide water to the people who don't have it now.
So they are from America, they have come to see you, you are good children.
Well, thank you for letting us visit, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you. So William, this tank, since you've had it, have you found that it's been sturdy?
We have never had any problem with the water tank.
No problems?
No problem.
The most attractive part of the Ingram students is that they come with a lot of dynamic young blood, and they come with a fresh mind which looks at things in a different way from an old person.
How old are the students here? Is this a primary school?
Yes, primary school.
They come from the States, totally ignorant of what I'm doing, but being able to get into there and be able to appreciate and then carry it a step further by actually marketing these technologies for me is a great input that I cannot have otherwise.
William.
Yes, please.
Before you had this rainwater harvesting tank,
yes,
where would the children get water from?
Oh, they used to get water from very far.
People knew of the technology, but they didn't know how it worked, they didn't know what it cost, they didn't know how it compared to other means of collecting water. And so that was really our goal, was to empower people with information, with knowledge, with education about these technologies.
So when you think about it, all this water is getting collected in here, and the dust just ends up being a minor part of that. The dust settles.
Rainwater has helped us so much. Students at the school here, they use water for cooking, for drinking, for bathing. You find them washing their faces. Whenever they come from the toilets, they wash their hands. Whenever they feel that they have played and their hands are dirty, they go and wash their hands because water is available. How many numbers? 70. I feel good, even the children, the way they are performing, the way they are doing their work. I've loved it so much. And I'm really appreciating. I'm so grateful for what you have done, giving us the tank.
I have been able to set up systems innovated locally and produced locally, and then the Ingram Scholars actually come in, appreciate the technology, and be able to move it to the next level of persuading people to use it. And that's unique.
Hello, we are glad to receive you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Harriet.
I'm Jordan. You're Harriet?
Jordan, yeah.
Oh, nice
to meet you.
My sense of community engagement has definitely changed after being in Kampala, Uganda. So we're students of Dr. Moses Musazi from Makerere University in Technology for Tomorrow. There's an importance in getting immersed into the community and becoming one with the culture and the people that are there.
Our main source of water is the borehole. Borehole, where the students go, they do the pumping of water themselves.
So in Uganda, Jordan and I really tried and really were deliberate about integrating into society and getting on their side as an insider, not just an outsider, to realize what these problems actually are that we're trying to fight.
And then we do the washing of the utensils.
Wow.
And then now the students also need to collect their own water for personal management.
Right.
You can't just come in and impose what you think is a good solution, because a lot of times the problem isn't as straightforward as you think. You know, there are cultural elements, there are historical elements, there are a lot of things that come into play that you can't capture on paper and with your research. So you really have to get down and like Kevin said, immerse yourself to really understand these issues.
So if you harvested rainwater from this big building here, you might not have so much environmental damage.
I just want to be able to help people, and that's all it really comes down to for me, is just continuing serving people. And there's something that kind of gets under my skin that inflames me with this passion to keep serving, and I found that this summer really did that for me. I think this school would be ideal for harvesting rainwater.
We'll be talking to Dr. Musazi and looking for funds maybe so that we can install gutters and rainwater harvesting tanks.
So we are very grateful.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Jordan and Kevin helped me to understand how we can harvest our water and put it to purposeful use. Because even whatever we have around us, you can't do without water. The students of Wampe Ontakwe would be very, very happy, and I'm very sure that they will greatly appreciate that the movement.
Everybody smile. This is the most intense part of the program for them. It's often where they find out what really matters to them, both in a positive and negative sense. Areas that they want to continue to pursue, and oftentimes they realize that these are things that they thought they were interested in, but it's not really the path in life for them. So the summer projects in many ways are the most transformative aspect of the Ingram Scholarship Program.
Happy graduation.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect.
The graduating class of Ingram Scholars is a very special group of people, of which there is much to be proud. The Ingram Scholarship Program has truly produced leaders eager to use their creative thinking to address critical societal problems in a multitude of ways. And it is for this ability to critically analyze problems around us, a skill cultivated by the Ingram Scholarship Program, that we are incredibly and inexpressibly thankful for.
Should go on. Taylor Mackey. Sloan Speakman. And for you seniors, you're wonderful kids. You do great things, but you never would have been in this room if it hadn't been for those people sitting around you. So I think we need a round of applause for the families.
We feel proud, very proud and wonderful to be a part of Ingram's family.
We love the Ingram program and everything is taught him. He's going to be a very poised young man, and we're just very proud and know he'll do good in the world.
I'm just really proud of everything he's accomplished, and also want to thank everybody involved in the Ingram program. It's been just a great experience.
So I've seen her actually graduate with a sense of purpose and independence and direction that I'm not sure she would have had otherwise.
Thank you. Always come back. And good luck.
Today felt more like a celebration than a goodbye, because the connections that I have with the other scholars, they'll continue throughout my life. They are people that I hold really dear to my heart.
Congratulations, everybody.
I feel like this is the beginning of something rather than the end.
Remember? Oh, yeah.
Bronson actually asked me in the interview, what is going to be the biggest challenge for you going forward? And at the time, as a young man, I thought it was, how do I balance this business career and the social change that I want to potentially affect in the world? And what I realized through the program was that they don't have to be distinct. They can really be the same thing. And so from that point on, I've tried to build a life where I can integrate both my work and that service. And it's been one thing. It's been building businesses that have a social impact, whether it be a nonprofit or a for-profit. And so it took the program to bring that together for me.
Hi, welcome to Austin. This is where I work. It's a little local nonprofit called Foundation Communities.
Our mission is not just to provide folks with a really beautiful, safe, attractive place to live here in Austin, but to make sure that they have all the tools and the opportunities that they need to succeed over time. And this is my office. My team is responsible for all of our outreach in the community. We've raised $9,340 on day 7 of our 10-day campaign to raise $10,000.
Great.
Being an Ingram Scholar really gave me the opportunity to develop skills around collaboration and bringing a diverse set of folks to the table around a particular issue to talk about finding common ground and working towards solutions and doing what's best for folks who are having a hard time. I'll see you in the morning. Bye. Take care. So we're headed to Arbor Terrace, which is one of our newest affordable housing communities. We're going to meet a group of volunteers from the University of Texas, and we're going to sit and dine with our residents. We have 10 different volunteer programs. One is our separate clubs.
Peaches, I got something for you.
What? Are you serious?
I made some homemade cornflakes. I baked some poison.
It was at Vanderbilt where I first started to really think about the underlying structures and the public policies that perpetuate issues like poverty, and really started using my brain and not just my heart, and started thinking through some of the root causes of the problems that folks in the community were facing. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. And imagine the ways that we might use our professions, our vocations to make a real difference in the world. Good to see you. And I think that we all have a light in us, and it's our duty, it's our responsibility to shine wherever we can. What grade is he in?
7th grade.
But what else are we here to do, if not to look out for each other and take care of each other and just leave the world a little bit brighter than it was before we happened by.
We've so far printed over 20,000 shirts, and anywhere from country music stars like Blake Shelton to Nashville's mayor. Triple Thread stands for 3 things. The first is to make quality custom apparel. The second is to create those jobs and job training opportunities for the residents of the Dismas House. And the third is to invest all net profits back into the Dismas House so we can further their mission of creating a space for former offenders.
Hey, John. Hey, see you, bud.
How's it going?
Good, I'm good.
Triple Thread is really inspired by my Ingram service at the Dismas House. The way that service works at the Dismas House is you cook dinner with and sit down to dinner and have conversations with the residents who live there. A big conversation topic during these dinners was the need for jobs. And realized there's this big demand on college campuses for custom apparel. And there's this big demand for jobs for former offenders, and that those two demands could actually be meshed and satisfy each other. And that was the kind of inception point of Triple Thread. It wasn't really until Triple Thread launched September of my senior year that I realized that this is what I want to do. I don't want to go to med school anymore. I want to become, a career social entrepreneur, and looking back on it, it was the best decision that I could have made, and it was because of the facilitation of the Ingram program, combining your service with your own job, or your full-time employment, that really pushed me towards committing eventually to making service an everyday part of what my career would be. I always hear you talk about how important quality is.
That's right. The reputation of Triple Thread lies upon my shoulders, and if I don't put a quality product out, then we can't expect the customers to come back.
We've been able to create 30 jobs and job training opportunities for Dismas House residents.
My goal and dream for Triple Thread is to have one in all 50 states.
And now staying in Nashville and starting another social enterprise, I really kind of see my future as one of a serial social entrepreneur.
The original shirts were like dark pink, so it looked really cool because the orange was real subtle.
Someone who creates businesses with purpose that both profit and provide value for a customer, and at the same time create a solution to environmental and social problems.
I have deep friendships with a lot of the folks, and not only that I went to school with, because we were still a pretty small clan then, but deep relationships with the alumni, the staff and mentors of the program. I've slept on probably a dozen couches of Ingram Scholars across the country and around the world. And so it's a family, and you can lean on them. So initially got our first investment out of an investor in Boston. You know, in different projects that I do, I reach out and to get deeper insight on a given area that somebody may have already been to, and they're reaching out to me as well. That's the thing. I mean, when you walk in, it's just about having confidence in those assumptions. There are things that I can share now and give them confidence that this is a long path. There are no huge mistakes you're going to make. Just keep pushing forward. So that's exciting.
When I started at Vanderbilt, I came in thinking that I wanted to go into business, and through my experiences that I had as an Ingram Scholar, I ended in a completely different field. My summer project was in India, and I helped start a preschool for kids who were underserved and underrepresented, and it was a very defining experience in my life. And as a result of that, I'm currently directing a preschool, and it's for kids who are underserved and underrepresented. And I really think that my experience that I had in India had a lot to do with what I'm doing right now. So the experiences that Ingram afforded me really helped shape my professional development.
Business leaders need to care what's going on in their community just as much as they care what's happening in their office, in their city. People need to be engaged in what's happening because those are the people that are going to make a difference. And the Ingram Scholarship programs allowed me to work with people that shared that same vision. And it was more than just serving on a local level, but it was developing a lifestyle to serve. And as I've gone into my professional career, I've been able to leverage those skills and the thinking and thought process behind what I learned at Vanderbilt to become effective and successful in my current role professionally, but also in the community.
The way that Ingram's changed my life in terms of my career is that it's made me not just think about my career. I go to work, I enjoy my work, but then I think about these other things that I'm doing outside of work, like the work I'm doing in East Palo Alto, is quite frankly just as important to me as the stuff that I'm doing at work. I'm a happier person because I'm not just thinking about me all day. It really gives me a chance to get out of my own self and see other perspectives and how other people are living and how I can help, albeit in just a small way, to maybe at least make one person's life besides my own better.
The Ingram Scholarship Program is something that will stay with each of us for the rest of our lives, and it taught me so much just in terms of how to carry myself through this life and figuring out priorities and knowing what's important for me to serve and be a leader. I learned so much from the people that are involved in this program.
To hear what you are doing with this program is inspiring and motivates me in my service every day.
It's just a part of who I am now, and I'm so grateful that the Ingram program instilled that in me. It's a fulfilling way to live this life, to know that I can be contributing in that sense every day.
All right, very nice, very nice. 1, 2, 3. That's great.
Totally overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. So the whole day has been the whole experience, and it has touched my heart deeply.
Oh, that's cute. 1, 2, 3. Nice.
The 20th anniversary celebration in November of 2013 was really amazing, especially for me. I'm sure it was even more amazing for the students and for the alums. What probably was most impressive for me was how many of these alums came back to show you how tight and how deep the bonds are in this community that grows each year.
Nice. Okay, now you want to do the you? All right.
I think to see it go from 6 to, wow, 180 is amazing. It's something that even we could never have envisioned, and to see it come to fruition has to be a proud moment for everyone involved from the inception, and for us, fortunately, we're included in that.
Oh my goodness. I think it's just great to be back here and feeling what it is to be a part of this Ingram Scholarship family, and how strong this family is.
It's a night of excitement and celebration of an amazing legacy of these youngsters who have gone out and I think done just what Mr. Ingram and the Ingram family have wanted to do, become good leaders and good citizens.
It's wonderful to look out and see all these youngsters who are taking advantage of the Ingram Scholars program. And I know my husband Bronson would have been thrilled beyond words that it has gone as well as it has. It's really beyond his wildest dreams.
It's just extraordinary. And I think when we were listening to Joby Wyatt and Martha Ingram and Neely talk this morning about the history and the evolution of the program, I looked around the room and realized we were all just feeling the same thing, like we're part of something really special, and this will outlive and outlast us. And it just feels, I feel lucky and blessed to have been a part of that here at Vanderbilt.
Which one are you guys doing? Which event?
It's really humbling to see sort of that next generation come through and see them as inspired, see them as committed. And, I think we're all sort of moved in sort of that generational spirit to now say, okay, what can we do next? What's in store next?
All of us are doing great things right now, and it's been really interesting to learn about what each one of you are doing right now, and that there's a lot of excitement, but just keep remembering that we can keep learning from each other.
You see, the Ingram Scholar program could very easily just be find the brightest people who think like we think and give them the power to do what we want to be done. But it's not. It's scholars in service to the community. The Ingram Scholar program creates connections in us to one another and calls us to create those connections with and in our communities and our world. It will be a delight to sit at a table with you in 20 more years, 2033, when I will be 60. And at that table to hear where these chords have taken you and what new memories your mission has made you make. Thank you and God bless.
It's impossible for me to overstate the impact the Ingram family has had on this university. The members of the family have always rolled up their sleeves with people at Vanderbilt to work to make it a great place. The giving is critical, but the involvement is equally critical, and they are inspirations in their own right. So in many ways, they have had an impact that is equaled by only one other person, and that's Cornelius Vanderbilt.
His gift just put such responsibility on us that we were giving away large chunks of money, and we really felt like we needed to be involved to steward the dollars that we were giving. And frankly, it's the greatest gift that he ever could have given us, and we're very fortunate.
From that first discussion that Bronson Ingram and Joe Wyatt had on the plane to 20 years later, it has been the Ingram Scholars themselves that have made this program successful, who from the very beginning were passionate, were enthusiastic, and were determined that they were going to make this program great, and they did.
Service really is all about gratitude, and coincidentally, our journey as Ingram Scholars begins with a gift of a scholarship and then the ability to do these summer projects. And so I think that inspires the gratitude within us that overflows and causes us to want to serve others.
From the beginning, it was scholars in service to the community. It was a deeper level of thinking about the service, critical thinking. This is not just a transaction. You're not just serving someone and walk away. Why does that problem exist in the first place, and how do you affect that? And how can your service affect that root cause of whatever it is? It's that level of thinking that the program was all about. And I think it's still, to this day, very much a part of the program.
William, thanks for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for helping me.
Mr. Ingram had this vision for a program that nurtures students into business leaders who have a dedication to their communities. And now it's incredible to see that vision in a new manifestation, and one that's more integrated, one where students can meld that dedication to their community into their career after graduation.
If Bronson were alive today to see what this program has accomplished and is accomplishing, and the way it's going about it, I think he would burst with pride.
I think that the scholarship program has definitely remained his legacy. And what a tribute to Mr. Ingram.
I think he would be very proud. I think he would be proud of what has happened with the Scholars program. I think he would be immensely proud at what the scholars are doing out in the real world. And I think beyond that, I think he'd be proud of us.
My hope for the program moving forward is that it continues to attract the same quality of youngster, and that we never lose the mission of working to make the world better, one person at a time, one area at a time, by helping your fellow man to make it better.
These are students who will continue to transform communities across the United States and abroad. And they will do this in ways that I think in the future will amaze us. And we owe it to the Ingram family to say thank you for having had the vision to invest in these students, to cultivate these leaders, particularly these leaders who are committed to making change in the world.
I think that the most incredible thing that this program has done is it's just believed in me. The people, the program, the Ingram family, having someone say that I am worth that type of investment is really the most extraordinary thing that anyone can do for a person. And they have done that over and over again.
I'm just so thankful. It's made a difference in my life, and if the Ingram family can know anything, the scholarship program is doing wonders for Vanderbilt and for Nashville and for the world. But I just hope that they can find a lot of peace and pride, and that it really turned one life around.
I would like to express my appreciation and gratitude to the Ingram family that have made it possible for these Ingram scholars to be in Africa. You are impacting this community, you are impacting development, you are extending support. Keep it up, extend it further. We are so grateful. Mwebale nnyo. Thank you very much.
Can have no words to appreciate them more than saying thank you, and I hope to see you again.
I am confident going out into the world that the tools that I received in Ingram will do me well, and that I can hopefully in some small way give back.
I look forward to using what I've learned in this program to move forward and make you guys proud of the man I am and the man I become.
There is not enough gratitude to express to you the way that you have changed these scholars' lives, and please know that we strive to be as incredibly philanthropic as you have been, and the gifts that you have given us, we are so grateful for. So thank you for continuing to be with us and believing in us, and for being so supportive of this whole program.
My name is Shilpa Mokshagundam, and I'm proud to be an Ingram Scholar.
I am Abby Hannafin. I am a Thistle Farmer, and I am an Ingram Scholar.
I'm Kyle McCullum.
I am Elliot Katz.
I'm Kevin Wolf.
I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm an Ingram Scholar.
My name is Alex Ledden and I'm a junior Ingram Scholar.
I'm Alexa Simpson and I'm an Ingram Scholar.
My name is Lisa Koenig and I am an Ingram Scholar.
My name is Kristen Sotolano and I am an Ingram Scholar.
My name is Dan Schultz and I'm an Ingram Scholar.
My name is Mike McCarg and I am an Ingram Scholar.